National Championship. Two semifinals beginning at 9 a.m. with the first matchup, then the consolation game, followed by the championships at 1:30 p.m. The first semifinal will be between the number 3 seed, the Stoneflies, and the number 2 seed, the Royals. Here are the lineups for both teams, starting with the number 3 seed, Stoneflies, who are the Morrow Cup champions representing the Colorado Collegiate Box Lacrosse League. Introducing goalie number 1, Emma Milkey. Offense, number 3, Zach Kennedy. Transition, number 5, Jack Kinney. Transition, number 8, Connor Brook. Defense, number 9, Christian Fedor. Defense, number 10, Dominic Jablonski. Offense, number 11, Adam Baki. Offense, number 12, Ty Hussey. Transition and faceoff, number 13, Luke Rios. Offense, number 14, Will Adele. Offense, number 15, Corby Tekiu. Offense, number 16, Noah Weirman. Offense, number 17, Josh Carlson. Defense, number 18, Yari Martin. Offense, number 20, Jack Gerber. Defense, number 21, Bradley Terry. Offense, number 22, Sean Trainer. Offense, number 23, Richie Connell. Offense, number 24, Quinn Marquez. Defense, number 25, Max Schutt. Goalie, number 30, Chandler Naiman. The coaches for the Stoneflies are Dave Long, Tyler Snyder, Anthony Ferry, and Mike Sinek. And the owners, Dave Link, Mike Gerber, and Mike Spruill. And now introducing the number 2 seed. They are the defending NCBS champions from last year and this year's California Cup champions from the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, the Royals. With goalie, number 1, Mason Spoonius. Defense, number 2, Connor Giltonen. Defense, number 3, Griffin Pohl. Forward, number 4, Alderic Vanderhyde. Defense, number 5, Caden Dietrich. Forward, number 7, Nick Beeson. Defense, number 8, Kevin Greninger. Defense, number 9, Cam Morris. Defense, number 11, Nate Ryan. Defense, number 15, Soren Savard. Forward, number 16, Will Tobias. Faceoff, number 18, Tegan Boltman. Forward, number 19, Owen Bennett. Transition, number 21, Fernando Garcia. Transition, number 22, Zach Snyder. Forward, number 24, Marquez White. Forward, number 26, Winton Bastian. Forward, number 27, Miles Botkus. Goalie, number 31, Caleb Mackey. Transition, number 34, Peyton Rozenka. Forward, number 40, Christian Rasmussen. Forward, number 44, Jake Govett. Forward, number 88, Matt Ward. Defense, number 93, Oscar Hertz. The coaches for the Royals are Cam Holding, Reed Rozenka, Casey Jackson, and Wes Berg. Yeah, we can start now and just go until it hits 0 and then, yeah. Good morning from the Silver Creek Sportsplex in San Jose, California. Welcome to Championship Saturday of the 2022 NCBS National Championships. I'm Jonathan Horowitz. Over the last 2 days, we've had 9 games in round-robin play involving teams representing 6 different leagues, and now the top 4 to play as part of the semifinals. There'll be a consolation game, and then the championships at 1:30 p.m. The first semifinal matchup between the number 2 seed, the Royals, the defending NCBS national champions from California, the winners of the California Cup this year. They look even better than last year. They returned much of the same squad from a year ago. They're facing the number 3 seed, the Stoneflies, and the Stoneflies, a team that last year missed the playoffs in Colorado, but they've changed their roster completely from top to bottom, offense to goaltending, a new look for this team that has been around the NCBS for a while. They were one of the founding members of the Colorado Collegiate Box Lacrosse League back in 2017, but this is their first time on the big stage in the NCBS National Championship. And then coming up in the second semifinal, it will be between the number 1 seed, the Hawkeyes, who won last night against the Royals to go undefeated in round robin play and to clinch the #1 seed, and they will be taking on the Revolution, the #4 seed. And so those are the 2 semifinal matchups. That will be followed by the consolation game between the #5 seed Rivermen and the #6 seed Grays, and it'll all lead to the championship game, which will take place at 1:30 p.m. So we're ready to go now as the teams are taking the court. Well, at least the Royals have huddled around their goalie Caleb Mackey, who is the reigning MVP. 18 players from last year's roster that won the NCBS National Championship are back on the roster this year. Still waiting on the Stoneflies to take the court. And the way that these semifinals set up, I think it's pretty cool that you have a semifinal involving what you would call the teams from the western United States, certainly the West Coast in California, the Royals looking to defend in the Golden State, and then Colorado representing Western lacrosse. And then you have the second semifinal involving the East Coast teams, upstate New York, the Hawkeyes, and then the Revolution from the Connecticut Collegiate Box Lacrosse League. So we're just about set to go for the first of 2 semifinals. What's also interesting is that each of these 2 semifinal matchups, they were part of round robin play, and it was the opening night game involving the Royals and the Stoneflies, and it was the Royals who came out all guns blazing and won 13-7. Now the Stoneflies, they've had a chance to regroup after that initial loss. They won their next 2 games and come into this semifinal much better than they were when they faced the Royals initially. Then for the other semifinal matchup, the Hawkeyes played the Revolution yesterday, and it was a close game through halftime and into the second half. However, the Revolution were way outmatched by the Hawkeyes in the second half. Hawkeyes with runs of 6-0 and 8-0, and they won 18-5. So convincing victories by one of the teams in the semifinal against the other, and now the teams that found themselves behind the 8 ball looking to get a little bit of revenge. So here we go with the first semifinal matchup, and the Stoneflies will get first crack on offense, which is probably a good thing for them because the Royals have become known in this tournament for scoring goals in the opening minute of games. So the Stoneflies will control the tempo on this first possession. White uniforms, black numbering, orange trim. Carlson to Adele, and the low shot goes wide, and Weirman not able to control the rebound. It goes back into the Stoneflies' end, and the Royals will now have a crack at it on offense. Royals in the purple uniforms, gold numbering, white trim, same color scheme as the San Diego Seals, the team with which the Royals has partnered from the NLL. A turn and a shot, first shot of the game coming from the Royals' Jake Govett, and players are swarming the rebound as it goes in front of the Stoneflies bench. It's still loose, and now it's picked up by the Stoneflies, and Christian Fedor will bring it into the offensive end. Starting goalie for the Royals, the reigning MVP from last year's NCBS National Championship Tournament, and that is Caleb Mackey going against Chandler Naiman for the Stoneflies. Naiman splits time in goal with Emma Milkey, expecting to see Emma playing in the second half. Mackey makes the save on Connell, and Weirman now taking a crack at Mackey. It goes off of the Royals, and so now the third opportunity on this offensive possession for the Stoneflies. Losing his footing there was Hussey, and it's a different surface that the Stoneflies play on here than on the artificial grass. And Richie Connell with a nifty behind the back shot that Mackey stops. So it did take the Stoneflies a game or two to get accustomed to the way that they maneuver on this sport court surface versus on the artificial turf at Foothills Fieldhouse in Denver, and also just to how the ball bounces on this court. No score through the first 2.5 minutes. Vanderhyde with the shot that goes wide, and the rebound controlled in the corner by Botkus, who had 5 goals against the Stoneflies in the first matchup. Battle for the loose ball, and the shot clock winds down on the Royals to cheers from the Stoneflies supporters that have come out from Colorado in good numbers, fill the bleachers to the left of where I'm sitting by the announcers table, and they have special Stoneflies and Colorado flag shirts. Connell, one-handed pass, sloppy pass, goes back into the defensive end, and that negates the possession for the Stoneflies, so the Royals will get it back. And Royals will go quickly with Govett making a run towards goal, trying to feed Vanderhyde, and same scenario on the other side where the pass goes back into the defensive end, and the Stoneflies will now get possession. So both teams kind of feeling each other out. They did play in the first matchup of the tournament on Thursday night, but much different scenario here today, and we're scoreless through the first 3.5 minutes. Stoneflies slowing the tempo down. Carlson puts on the brakes, goes up top to Weirman. Weirman with the shot across his body, save made by Mackey. Offensive rebound, but then flicked away. And here come the Royals in transition. A chance at a 2-on-1, and Naiman able to make the stop going to his knees. And the stop was made on a number 35 player that I don't have on my roster. So we'll have to find out who that is. It could very well be Cam Morris, who's listed at number 9, but is coming back from injury after missing the first few games of the tournament. 10 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter, and here's Marquez White putting on the brakes, shooting it. Naiman able to make the save, and it trickles between his legs, precariously so, and Trainer is there to keep it from going across the goal line. Both teams with 3 shots and no goals yet in a defensive effort that works very much in what the Royals like to do, focusing on defense, a real physical team. The Stoneflies, they put in 20 goals yesterday against the Rivermen, but they've also been involved in some defensive battles as a pass here is broken up. And here's Peyton Rozenka with a chance at Naiman, and Naiman's able to make the save. Brook trying to chase down the rebound, but beaten to it by Govett. Govett is 1 against 2 at the moment, so he'll wait for support to come from off the bench, and then the Royals will set up their half-court offense. Beeson from straight away over to the far side to Govett. Looks into the center, takes it himself. One-handed pass, Botkus. Botkus with Baki slipping, so it gets him some space, and Snyder goes down low, knocked down by Trainer. Save is made by Naiman, but Royals still control from behind the net. The wind-up from Botkus, and a sprawling save there by Naiman. And now the Stoneflies come away with it. However, we're going to get a penalty called, and the first penalty of the game being called by referee Justin Kitashima, with an incident away from the ball taking place right in front of him, and it's going to be Sean Trainer guilty of an illegal cross-check. Penalty is against the Stoneflies. Sean Trainer, 2 minutes for an illegal cross-check at 6 minutes 15 seconds of the first quarter. Power play here for the Royals in what has been an intense but scoreless opening period. Down low for Snyder, checked hard by Schutt. Worked back up to the top, and Govett couldn't control it. It goes out of play, and the Stoneflies will get the ball shorthanded. Last night against the Rivermen, the Stoneflies had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 shorthanded goals. An often penalized team, but they seem to play just as well with a man down as they do at even strength or with a man up. They also had 3 power play goals yesterday, so special teams was the forte for the Stoneflies. Connell with the one-handed pass behind the net. Wraparound opportunity, and Mackey is right there in goal to snuff out the chance by Carlson. Halfway through this first quarter, 7 minutes 30 seconds to go, and less than a minute to go now on the illegal cross-check penalty to Sean Trainer. Vanderhyde with a shooting lane, passes it up to Govett. Vanderhyde gets it back, down low Snyder, up top Vanderhyde, around the perimeter. Vanderhyde still looking for a seamer, the Royals. Vanderhyde will now take the shot, Naiman the save. The rebound is loose for a moment, but Naiman is able to trap it. Adele gets hit, and then Govett swipes at him from behind. The Royals get it back with 20 seconds to go on the power play. Snyder down low. One-timer, and Naiman goes across the goal mouth to stop Botkus. 7 shots now in favor of the Royals to 4 for the Stoneflies. Teku into the offensive end with 6.5 minutes to go first quarter. Hussey lost it. We're back to even strength, but the Royals keeping the pressure on here. Eason from off the bench. Now Ward has it. 2 goals against the Stoneflies in the first game. Vanderhyde turns and shoots, and it's kept out of the net, but Winton Bastian recovers the ball at the top. Ward puts his shoulder into Fedor, and Naiman is able to step up and make the save. So we're still scoreless with 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go in a first quarter that has had very good lacrosse play. Stoneflies with it on the far side. Carlson from an off angle, and it bounces high in front of the net, and the Royals come away with it. Pohl loses it, has to go back to the boards to retrieve it. Carlson with the big check, and the Stoneflies now have another opportunity on offense here, which is going to be key because until this point it's been the Royals who've had multiple opportunities on offense and the Stoneflies have been one and done. Carlson spins on Hertz, gives it up to Weirman. Weirman checked into the corner by Bennett. Outlets it to Kennedy. Cross court with the shot clock winding down. It's out of the reach of Trainer, but Carlson gets it, sustains a big hit from Hertz. And the play gets physical as helmets and sticks go flying. It's Pohl who lost his helmet as he goes over to the bench now. Royals back on offense after that shot clock violation by the Stoneflies. Trainer without a stick trying to defend Govett. It's going to be a tough task for him. Up top for Beeson, rips it, and Terry's able to flick it out of the air and intercept that one. Teku into the front court. Connell, the MVP of the Colorado Collegiate Box Lacrosse League this year. Cross-court pass, and Adele on the doorstep, but Mackey up to the task going across the crease to make the stop. Still no score through the first 11 minutes. Rasmussen up top, Vanderhyde. Vanderhyde shoots high, it goes wide into the back of the netting. And a tie up there with Naiman coming out of his goal mouth to make a check, and an in the crease call against Marquez White. And so now the Stoneflies come away with it. Adele from behind the net gets hit. Continues to run around the perimeter. Connell with a shooting lane from straight away, and Mackey able to make the stop. The MVP from Colorado firing it on the MVP from last year's NCBS National Championship, and we're still scoreless, approaching the 3-minute marker of the first quarter. The intensity that you'd like to see in a semifinal matchup. Beeson, cross court, out of the reach of its target. Teku picks up the loose ball, loses it though, and Ward will come away with it. Ward trying to find Snyder in the center but couldn't connect with him, so the Royals will bring the ball out and set up shop on offense. Botkus to Snyder. Botkus the leading scorer through pool play. Snyder checked off his line by Terry. One-handed pass. Shot clock winding down. Ward from straight away will put it in the back of the net for the first goal off the pass from Botkus. Snyder checked off his line by Terry. One-handed pass. Shot clock winding down. Ward from straight. 40 seconds into the first quarter. Royals goal scored by Matt Ward, assisted by Miles Botkus at 12 minutes 40 seconds of the first quarter. Ward from Botkus for the Royals at 12:40 of the first. 7th goal of the tournament for Ward, who had 2 against the Stoneflies, 4 against the Revolution, held scoreless against the Hawkeyes. Vanderhyde looking for more for the Royals. Up top to Rasmussen, fires and scores from straight away. And that's what the Royals do well, put goals together quickly in bunches. Hawkeyes, Vanderhyde looking for more for the Royals. Up top to Rasmussen, fires. So 2 goals in less than a minute after we went 12 minutes 40 seconds without a goal by either team. Royals goal scored by Christian Rasmussen, assisted by Aldrich Vanderhyde at 13 minutes 30 seconds of the first quarter. Rasmussen from Vanderhyde for the Royals at 13:30 of the first. One minute remaining in the first quarter. So the Stoneflies now find themselves down 2-0 as Adele rips one that goes wide, and it's sticked out of the air by Bennett. Pass up ahead to Ryan, and it's gotten a little bit quieter from the Colorado supporters after giving up those 2 goals in less than a minute. Ward and Rasmussen scoring. Marquez White runs towards goal, jump, shoots in the crease. It's waved off. Trainer there with the defense. Final possession of the first quarter. Carlson with 10 seconds to go to Hussey in the corner. Hussey back to Carlson, loses it. Royals come away with it. 3 seconds to do something at the end of the quarter. Ball goes back into the Stoneflies' end, and first quarter comes to an end. That's the end of the first quarter. The score after 1, Royals 2, Stoneflies 0. Great intensity to kick off the first semifinal. Stoneflies look like a much different team than they did in the first game of the tournament against these Royals when they lost 13-7. But the Royals, they just keep pressuring and pressuring, and finally broke through 12 minutes and 40 seconds in with a goal, followed 50 seconds later by a goal from Rasmussen. They lead 2-0. We'll be back in a minute and a half with the second quarter of the first of 2 semifinals for the 2022 NCBS National Championships. You're watching on NCBS.TV. Welcome back to coverage of the first of 2 semifinals on Championship Saturday of the 2022 NCBS National Championship. I'm Jonathan Horowitz, coming to you from the Silver Creek Sportsplex in San Jose, California, where the defending national champions, the Royals, worked hard, broke through got the first 2 goals of the game, lead 2-0, but a response from the Stoneflies on the first possession of the second quarter, and it's Trainer taking the feed from Adele and broke through, got the first 2 goals of the game, lead 2-0, but a response. Stoneflies goal scored by Sean Trainer, assisted by Will Adele at 35 seconds of the second quarter. Trainer from Adele for the Stoneflies at 35 seconds of the second. Adele 3 assists yesterday, also had a couple of goals. He's quite the playmaker for this Stoneflies squad. So it's now 2-1. Botkus making the pass down low and out in front, and Naiman able to make the stop on Govett, who's right on the doorstep. And now we're going to get a delayed penalty, and Naiman sprints over to the bench for the extra attacker for the Stoneflies. Stoneflies will take their time with an opportunity to have the extra man out. Connell over to the far boards to Weirman, back to Connell up top. There's the playmaker, Adele. What does he see? He gives it to Carlson, and the shot clock expired, but nonetheless, it'll still be a man up for the Stoneflies when the power play starts. Penalty is against the Royals, Matt Ward. 2 minutes interference, time of the penalty, 2 minutes 15 seconds of the second quarter. First power play of the game for the Stoneflies, who got 3 power play goals yesterday. Straight away for Connell, a ripper in the back of the net. Power play of the game for the Stoneflies, who got 3 power play goals yesterday. Straight away for Connell. Stoneflies goal, power play goal, scored by Richie Connell, assisted by Josh Carlson at 2 minutes 30 seconds of the second quarter. Connell on the power play from Carlson for the Stoneflies at 2:30 of the second. After going scoreless for the first quarter, the Stoneflies come out with 2 goals in the first 2.5 minutes of the second quarter to tie the game up 2-2. Back to even strength. Vanderhyde runs it to the center, bounces it wide. It goes high off of the rafters above this court here in rink number 1 at the Silver Creek Sportsplex, and we'll go back to the Stoneflies. 5 rinks here with games being played across all levels and age groups as part of the U.S. Boxla Nationals that has attracted more than 1,000 players to San Jose, California, from all corners of the country and some from north of the border in Canada as well. Shot from the wing from Connell, and it makes it through to Mackey, who's able to make the stick save. And now he'll bounce it forward to Cam Morris, who's back after an injury. Starts a 2-on-1 that is finished by Beeson for the goal. And Mackey will get credit for the second assist on that play. And now he'll bounce it forward to Cam Morris, who's back after an injury. Starts a 2-on-1. Royals goal scored by Nick Beeson with assist to Cam Morris and Caleb Mackey at 4 minutes 15 seconds of the second quarter. Beeson from Morris and Mackey for the Royals at 4:15 of the second. It took 12 minutes and 40 seconds to get the first goal of the game in the first quarter. Teams have combined for 3 goals through the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. Adele down low looking to tie things up once again, and it went in the back of the net, but he's in the crease. So the Royals, after seeing their 2-goal lead go away early in this game, respond with a goal of their own on the transition play started by the goalkeeper, Caleb Mackey. 9 minutes, 40 seconds to go with Morris running towards goal, shooting and scoring. Pardon me, not Morris, that's Ward. Ward, number 88, getting the goal for the Royals. 9 minutes, 40 seconds to go with Morris running towards goal, shooting and scoring. Royals goal, second of the game, scored by Matt Ward at 5 minutes, 30 seconds of the second quarter. Ward with his second for the Royals at 5:30 of the second. So 2 goals for the Royals in a span of a minute and a half, much like they did getting 2 quick goals in the first quarter. So now they're back up by 2, 4-2, with 8 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the second quarter. Low shot Snyder, and the save is made by Naaman, and now the Stoneflies will look for an answer in transition, with Teku putting the shoulder into White. And now the play will be reset on offense with Kennedy flicking it for Connell. Connell checked into the boards, now puts his shoulder into the defender, makes the pass down low to Weirman. Good look, but Mackey's there to track it into his chest protector. One and done for the Stoneflies. Royals come away with it. And White will slow the tempo down on offense. Oh, beautiful goal as White makes the pass down low, and it's a behind the back shot that will go offense. Oh, beautiful trick for him. Royals goal, third of the game, scored by Matt Ward, assisted by Winton Bastian. Time of the goal, 7 minutes of the second quarter. Ward with his third from Bastian for the Royals at 7 minutes of the second. Rasmussen was celebrating there like it went in, but Naaman kept it out of the net. Goalie who plays at CU Boulder in Colorado, wearing the Buffaloes helmet. Across the way, Caleb Mackey from Lambton College from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. So 3 straight from the Royals. Carlson, sandwiched by defenders, gives it up for Weirman. Pad save by Mackey. And now with 6.5 to go in the second quarter, the Royals looking to keep the foot on the accelerator. One of the things that's worked well for them is having multiple opportunities on each offensive possession. Ward with 3 goals, held scoreless against the Hawkeyes. Govett rips one wide. High rebound goes back into the Royals' end, and the Stoneflies will get it. Stoneflies getting to the NCBS National Championship after starting the regular season in Colorado 0-3, winning the 5 games after the midseason break to make the semifinals, and then wins against the Fighting Bison, previous NCBS National Championship participants, and then defeating the Blizzard in the Morrow Cup Finals to advance to San Jose. Ball bounces off of the boards, and Carlson was the one who made the pass, and now he tries to rescue it from the corner. A push against Peyton Rozenka, and the Royals will come away with it. Royals team that advanced to the national championship with a win in a 3-game series against the San Francisco Dragons in the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League. Beeson the shot, and Naaman able to make the save, and it's scooped up by Shutt on defense for the Stoneflies. We hit the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. Stoneflies tied it early in the quarter, 2-2, but 3 straight for the Royals, with Beeson on a transition goal started by the goalkeeper Mackey, and then 2 straight from Matt Ward. Adele sandwiched into the corner. Trainer tries to get it back. Adele flicks at it. It's into the stick of Trainer. Trainer hit hard into the boards, falls down. Physical play right in front of me. And play will stop, and an extra shove there from Trainer against Cam Morris. And they have words for each other, and the referee steps in between the two of them. And we're gonna get penalties coming out of it. Trainer and Morris are going to the box.
You better do your job.
Penalties on the play for number 22, Sean Trainer for the Stoneflies. Number 9, Cam Morris for the Royals. Matching Miners for roughing. Time of the penalties, 11 minutes, 15 seconds of the second quarter. Physical play continues with Baki being checked in the corner. Stoneflies have it on this first possession with both teams still playing 5 aside after the penalties. Hussey knocked down, hit by Rozenka. Shoving still continues. A swipe there from Hussey after the play. Connell steps in to attempt to be the peacemaker. No penalties called there. And the Royals head the other direction, up 5-2, under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Delayed penalty is going to be called here against the Stoneflies, so Mackey comes to the bench for the extra attacker. Cross-court pass across the goal mouth, and the goal for the Royals by Mackey comes to the bench for the extra attacker. Cross-court pass across the goal mouth, head of steam towards the goal. The pass was perfectly placed. He comes to the bench for the extra attacker. Cross-court pass across the goal. Royals goal, second goal of the game, scored by Christian Rasmussen. Time of the goal, 12 minutes, 15 seconds of the second quarter. Rasmussen with his second for the Royals at 12:15 of the second. Goal came on a delayed penalty, so we're still at even strength. Although a penalty is going to be called here after the play. Actually, no penalty being called. I think what happened was Trainer released from the box after the goal, but it was an even strength situation. 4 straight goals for the Royals. Several of them you can put on the highlight reel for this NCBS National Championship, and it's a 6-2 lead for the Royals. Boltman will win the face-off against Rios. 2 good face-off men, but now it's going to go back to the Stoneflies. 1 minute remaining in the second quarter. Connell asks for a screen. Pick and roll with Weirman. Weirman now up top, fires from straight away, and Mackey able to make the save. About a 10-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Royals on a 4-0 run. Timeout is called by the Royals. And the Royals will take some time to diagram final possession of the first half for them. I'd say that overall the quality is improved in this game compared to the first game that these two teams play, when the Royals got out to an early 4-1 lead after 9-2. They led at halftime and then pulled away courtesy of a 6-0 run through the second and third quarters for a 13-7 win for the Royals against the Stoneflies. That was the first game of the tournament all the way back on Thursday. And since that time, we've had 8 more games played since, involving the 6 different teams that make up the National Collegiate Box Series. Growth of this tournament from when it first started in 2019 as a 2-team tournament between teams from Colorado and Ohio, and now involving teams from California, upstate New York, and Connecticut, who were all part of the tournament for the first time last year. And this year, the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Box Lacrosse League founded and sending a team out here to San Jose. Coaching staff for the Royals, very much affiliated with the San Diego Seals team that has helped bring an NLL mindset to collegiate box lacrosse through this Royals squad. Cam Holding, Reed Rozenka, who played for the Royals last year and now coaching, and Casey Jackson and Wes Berg. Back to action. White makes the pass, sets a screen over to the near side to Bacchus. Look down low for Govett. Instead, we'll give it to Ward. Ward dances with it. Behind the back shot from Govett in the center, and it's picked up by Naiman with 7 seconds to go. Here's shut into the front court, and we're going to get the timeout called by the Stoneflies to talk things over for the final play. Timeout called by the Stoneflies. Coaching staff for the Stoneflies, Tyler Snyder and Mike Sinek are here in Colorado. Anthony Ferry and Dave Long also part of the coaching staff. And on the bench for the Stoneflies, giving some coaching advice, is Quinn Marquez, who's a player this year but got injured in the game on Thursday against the Royals, shoulder injury that has kept him out for the rest of the tournament. He's a player who would be quite familiar with this Royals squad because last year he played his box lacrosse for the San Francisco Dragons that are part of the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League. And now a student at the University of Denver, has an internship out in Denver for the summer, so stayed in Denver and played for this Stoneflies squad as part of the National Collegiate Box Series. And he is joined on the Stoneflies by several of his teammates for the Pioneers. MVP Richie Connell, who will get the ball from referee Charlie Whitty, along with Ty Hussey and Josh Carlson, all Pioneers on this Stonefly squad. And a lot of the defense is represented by players from CU Boulder, including the goalie Chandler Naiman. Quick shot off of the restart by Hussey as the horn sounds to end the first half. That's the end of the first half. The score at halftime, Royals 6, Stoneflies 2. What a way to start the morning for the semifinals for the 2022 National Collegiate Box Series National Championships. I'm Jonathan Horowitz. Thanks for being with us wherever you're following the games. I've gotten some wonderful messages from people who are following on the East Coast, the West Coast, even internationally over in Hong Kong, New Zealand. It's been great to learn about the viewership and the growth of the sport of box lacrosse in the United States, especially at the collegiate level, with a number of players from the NCBS ultimately getting drafted by NLL teams, and just the tide rises. And we have this first semifinal, the West Coast semifinal, where the Royals got out to an early 2-0 lead after the first quarter. The Stoneflies from Colorado able to come back, tie things up 2-2, but 4 straight goals by the Royals. They'll have the momentum going in to the second half. But the Stoneflies did make a big comeback, 4 goals down yesterday against the Grays, and they'll try and do that against the defending national champions, the Royals, in the second half. The Royals will look to move on to their second straight NCBS National Championship game. But overall, I'd say the sport of box lacrosse is the winner, because we've seen some great action in what has been an intense first half. We'll be back with the second half in about 5 minutes' time. You're watching Scorebreak's coverage of the 2022 NCBS National Championship across all sorts of websites and social media platforms through ncbs.tv.
Very early in my lacrosse career, I gained an appreciation for the value of box lacrosse as it carried over into field lacrosse, and every kid should be starting by playing box lacrosse instead of field lacrosse. So many young men from Canada who play box lacrosse are getting a lot of scholarship money in the U.S. for college. By starting this thing in the U.S. now, I really believe that we're going to have a great symbiotic kind of relationship between the education you can get in college, but the kids being better skilled to play field lacrosse through box. You never see a kid come off the rink without a smile on his face, win, lose, or draw. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Number one, it's so much fun. Nobody's pigeonholed into a position. You know, everybody's up. In field lacrosse, you throw a ball over someone's head, it rolls 30 yards, it goes out of bounds. In box, it stays in play. So that the quick, oh my God, I failed. There is no failure. It just, oh my God, it's in play in a different way. Then the 30-second shot clock and the speed at which it's played can only enhance what we're doing in field lacrosse at the college level. The key for me is using lacrosse to make young people happy.
Teams are back on the court with the second half about to get underway between the Royals and the Stoneflies. Royals getting to this point with wins in their first two games, and they came against this Stonefly squad 13-7, then 10-7 win against the Revolution. And then with the record of 2-0, they took on the 2-0 Hawkeyes in the final game last night. And both teams, I think, kind of kept the cards close to their vest with knowing that they were both going to be in the semifinals. They both played backup goalies. They both played backup players. In the end, it was an exciting game with the Hawkeyes winning in the final 4 seconds, coming back from behind to get the game winner by Zach Miller with 4 seconds left. And that put them into the semifinals, looking to make the finals, but the Stoneflies will try and have final 4 seconds, coming back from behind to get the game winner by Zach Miller with 4 seconds. Second half and trying to mount a comeback. And it's an interesting goal there with Will Adell just kind of, well, he's usually the playmaker, so he just was kind of waiting with it and then decided to take the shot himself, and he gets the goal. Stoneflies goal scored by Will Adell. Time of the goal, 30 seconds of the third quarter. Adell for the Stoneflies at 30 seconds of the third. Now in goal for the Stoneflies is Emma Milkey. Hussey with the shot, and Mackey's able to make the save, but the possession will stay with the Stoneflies. Connell will shoot one, and it's taken away. Oscar Hertz, like a cornerback, intercepting it, has the defense and the offense. Wow, that was a great goal. The hard shooting Richie Connell had his, will shoot one, and it's taken away. Oscar Hertz, like a cornerback, intercepting it, has the Royals goal scored by Oscar Hertz at 1 minute 30 seconds of the third quarter. Hertz for the Royals at 1:30 of the third. First goal of the tournament for the defender, who is from La Jolla, California, goes to Brown University and plays internationally for Team Denmark. Number of international players on this Royals squad, including Hertz from Denmark. Winton Bastian plays for Team Germany. Fernando Garcia for Team Mexico, and Aldrich Vanderhyde for Team Netherlands. So both teams with goals in the opening 2 minutes of the second half, and it's back to a 4-goal lead, 7-3 for the Royals. This was the score, though, however, when the Stoneflies took on the Grays and then went on a run of 8-1 to close out the game for an 11-8 win. But much different scenario to be able to pull that off again against the defending NCBS national champions, the Royals. Royals out shooting the Stoneflies 18-9 and leading 7-3, 3 minutes through this third quarter. Botkus winds up, save made by Milkey. Yari Martin will pick up the rebound. Has it knocked away from him by Marquez White. And Snyder went over into the offense, back into the defense, so the Stoneflies do catch a break there. Connell checked hard into the boards. And it's gonna go back to the Royals. White into the offensive end. Gets it back with his team leading 7-3, 11 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the third quarter. Botkus winds up, Milkey the save. Botkus chased down his own rebound in front to Vanderhyde. In the crease is called, though, and the Royals continue to pressure, but that goal was waved off. Last year's representative for the Colorado Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, the Gold Miners in San Jose. They would finish third in the standings behind the champion Royals and the runner-up Armory, who were both in the finals. Shot clock winds down, and the Royals will get it back in the Stoneflies offensive end with Govett restarting it from the corner. He used to play box lacrosse for the Colorado Collegiate Box Lacrosse League with the Red Hawks. Now out in California, where his dad, Steve Govett, is the president of the San Diego Seals. Botkus the shot, deflected into the corner by Milkey. There's some great videos of Emma Milkey on the US Boxla social media accounts, making history as the first female player for the National Collegiate Box Series National Championship. Ward looks back at the shot clock. Splits defenders, pass down low to Snyder. Snyder back out in front, and Milky steps up to deny the player who got the championship winning goal in overtime last year, Zach Snyder, who helped clinch the national championship with the overtime goal against the Armory. Armory from upstate New York. This year's upstate New York representatives, the Hawkeyes, will be in action in the second semifinal against the Revolution. Hussey from the goal line. Trainer around a screen from Hussey, shoots it, and Mackey able to be in the position to see that one through. Shots are now in favor of the Royals, 24-9. 7-3 lead for them. White feeds it down into the corner. Beeson runs it out to the top, and Milky able to make the save. She's giving up more rebounds, though, than she has in previous games, so it gives the Royals another opportunity. Vanderhyde, cross-court Govett. Govett behind the back pass. Nifty move, but not able to finish the job there is Bastian. Bastian around a screen from Govett. Cross court, White, shots deflected, and it'll go out of play, and it'll go back to, well, no, it was initially signaled to go to the Stoneflies, but it was deflected off of the Stoneflies, so the Royals will get it back and have a fresh 30-second shot clock to work with. Govett to Vanderhyde up top, back to Govett. Govett rips it and scores. You give them enough chances, they're eventually going to make you pay, and that's what happened on that. Govett to Vanderhyde up top, back to Govett. Govett rips it and scores. Royals goal scored by Jake Govett, assisted by Aldrich Vanderhyde at 7 minutes 30 seconds of the third quarter. Govett from Vanderhyde for the Royals at 7:30 of the third. Boltman with the face-off win, and Peyton Rozenka leaving it for Matt Ward. Ward with a hat trick. 2 goals for Rasmussen and a goal apiece for the Royals from Beeson, Hertz, and most recently Govett. Botkiss with the wind up, and it goes wide. Snyder chases down the rebound, and the pass just out of the reach there of Beeson, who then retreats and picks it up one-handed. Referee calling a shot clock violation, and we didn't have the horn sound, but that timing was kept by referee Justin Kitashima. 8-3 lead, and Adele for the Stoneflies runs it into the corner, shoots it from the wing, and scores just like he did earlier in this quarter. Stoneflies runs it into the corner, shoots it from the wing. His second goal of the game. Stoneflies goal, second of the game, scored by Will Adele at 9 minutes of the third quarter. Adele with his second for the Stoneflies at 9 minutes of the third. 2 straight goals for Adele. Battle for the faceoff, and both of those goals coming from the same type of angle. Jablonski tries to flick it forward. It goes right in front of the Royals bench. Check from behind by Jablonski, and the Royals will get it back. Royals did win the face-off game in the first matchup between these two teams 16-8, and they continue to be the team that's advantaged by the face-off, with Tegan Boltman going against Luke Rios. Both very capable face-off players. Adele with the pass to Carlson, making a maneuver towards goal, and Mackey able to keep it out of the net. Adele chases down the rebound. Cross court for Hussey. Hussey steps into it, and it'll bounce around the boards. Connell tries to control it. Now it flicks away towards the center where it's picked up by White. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go in this third quarter. 4-goal lead for the Royals. They had a 4-goal lead at halftime. Each team has scored 2 goals in this third quarter. Vanderhyde up top to Botkus. Pass down low and slipping and falling into the crease and slipping again is Snyder. You do have kind of a custom-made court here at Silver Creek Sportsplex, adding that crease with the US Boxla logo. Also having to add some lines as a number of sports are played on this sport court surface, and so all the different colored lines that signify the rules for those different sports. 3.5 minutes to go, third quarter, and collision away from the ball with Nate Ryan knocked down, and it turns back over to the Royals, who have more than double the shots of the Stoneflies, and they have double the goals. Snyder into the corner. Eason with a shooting lane, and Milky able to make the save and steer it into the corner. Ball rolls around and Bastian picks it up, so another possession for the Royals on offense. Bastian collides with Trainer. Ball slips out to Ward. Ward retreats to pick it up with 2:40 to go in the third. Beeson lets it rip. It goes wide. But another opportunity with the shot clock winding down for Botkus, and ball comes out to center court where referee stops it, and we also are going to have a penalty being called. I think we're going to get 2 penalties. Referee Justin Kitashima signaling a hold, and I think also signaling an unsportsmanlike conduct against Sean Trainer, who's been penalized twice already and has been jawing a bit at the referees. Certainly doesn't help his team on that scenario. Penalties on the play against the Stoneflies. Sean Trainer, 2 minutes for holding. 2 minutes as well for unsportsmanlike conduct. 4 minutes of penalties coming at 13 minutes of the third quarter. Quick goal off of 4 minutes of penalties coming at 13 minutes of the third quarter. It's Winton Bastian. Govett, the point man per usual. And after some good ball movement, it was Bastian down low who finished the job. Royals goal, power play goal, scored by Winton Bastian. Time of the goal was 13 minutes, 30 seconds of the third quarter. Bastian on the power play for the Royals at 13:30 of the third. Less than a minute to go now in this third quarter, and Royals will still be on the power play. Govett. Vanderhyde. Botkus the wide shot. Straight back to Vanderhyde. Now down low to Snyder, who's checked into the corner. Royals creeping closer on offense. Shot clock winds down. And now the Stoneflies will have the ball for the final possession, but not so fast as it's taken away. And Rozenka with the breakaway opportunity, the shot with the defense converging on him. It goes wide. 5 seconds remaining. Vanderhyde will give it to Botkus, who winds up and stays out of the net. That's the end of the third quarter. The score going to the fourth, Royals 9, Stoneflies 4. 1 quarter remaining, and the Royals starting to creep away from the Stoneflies. 1 quarter away from potentially returning to the national championship game. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with the decisive fourth quarter for the first of 2 semifinals. Coming up next will be the East Coast semifinal between the Hawkeyes and the Revolution. But we'll see who the first berth to the finals is, with the Royals and the Stoneflies coming back for the fourth next. Interesting face-off formation as we get back to action. Start of the fourth quarter with a trip to the finals on the line between the Royals and the Stoneflies. And still a minute left on the double minor to Sean Traynor. So the Royals, winning the draw, go back on the power play. Shot from Govett, creeping closer towards the goal. It'll go wide and back into the Royals' end, and the Stoneflies will get it back, and they'll have a chance to kill off the rest of the penalty. Stoneflies did get 4 shorthanded goals last night in the win against the Rivermen, and down by 5. We'll try and do the same here, though Hussey's shot is blocked and it bounces out of play. Ruled off of the Royals, so it stays with the Stoneflies, who will go back to even strength on this possession. Traynor to release from the box in the next 5 seconds. Hussey will wait for him to do so. Traynor's out. Kennedy comes on off of the bench. We're back to even strength. Minute gone by in this fourth quarter. Up top for Connell, met quickly by the defense, shoots it high, and Mackey's able to make the save. Connell chases down his own rebound. Pass into the corner to Hussey. Hussey puts the shoulder into the defender, draws a double. Hussey still with it, muscling towards goal, gets space, fires Mackey the save. Pohl loses his shoe, but more importantly keeps the ball, retrieves the shoe, and goes over to the bench. Royals working around the perimeter. Beeson. Cross court. Botkus with space. Fires through traffic. It goes high and wide. Shot clock expired on the Royals. And now here come the Stoneflies, down by 5, 9-4. Brook leaving it for Carlson. Cam Morris defending. He's back after being injured for the first 3 games of the tournament. And he drapes Carlson. Carlson gets the shot off. Mackey to his knees to make the save, preventing it from going through the 5-hole. Royals nursing this 5-goal lead through the first 2 minutes, 15 seconds of the fourth quarter. Ward got away from his defender, shoots it on Milky, and running in to put it in the back of the net was Govett, but he was called for in the crease. Stoneflies with the pass into the center to Weirman, and it's taken away by Peyton Rozenka, leading a 2-on-1 with Cam Morris. Makes the pass to Morris all alone and scores! Trainer was drawn like a magnet toward Rozenka, and that left Morris leading a 2-on-1 with Cam Morris. Makes the pass to Morris all alone and scores! Back for Cam Morris, who was injured and missed the first 3 games of the tournament. Royals goal scored by Cam Morris, assisted by Peyton Rozenka. 3 minutes, 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Morris from Rozenka for the Royals at 3:30 of the fourth. So now a 10-4 lead with 10 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. In the center for Bastion, and Milky's able to make the save. Royals got off to a 2-0 start in the first quarter, but it came after the first goal. Took 12 minutes and 40 seconds, a real intense defensive matchup to start the game. Then the Stoneflies came back in the opening 2.5 minutes of the second quarter to tie things up 2-2. Royals would then go on a 4-0 run to take a 6-2 lead at halftime as Pohl goes in on a breakaway, and the defenders are lighting up the scoreboard for the Royals in transition as take a 6-2 lead at halftime as Pohl goes in on a breakaway. Royals goal scored by Griffin Pohl at 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Pohl for the Royals at 5 minutes of the fourth. The score is 11-4. The scoreboard here at the Plex mistakenly did credit that last goal to the Stoneflies, but what you're seeing on the stream on NCBS.TV and other social media platforms is correct, 11-4. Wind up from Beeson. Stop is made by Milky. Back up top to Botkus. 8 different players have scored for the Royals. Led by the hat trick from Ward. Rasmussen looking for a hat trick of his own from close to the goal, and Milky makes the stop, but we're going to get a penalty, and the Royals continue to put the pressure on, and a chance here on the power play for them with Shutt going to the penalty box. Penalty on the play against the Stoneflies. Max Shutt, 2 minutes for an illegal cross-check. Time of the penalty, 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. 7-goal lead. Royals looking to add to it. Botkus, the shot. Milky, the save. You've had 8 different players score for the Royals. Botkus hasn't been one of them, and he got 5 goals against the Stoneflies, the opening game of the tournament. Vanderhyde picks it up off of the bounce, takes a check from Terry as he dishes it off. Bastion steps into it and scores the power play goal. Vanderhyde picks it up off of the bounce, takes a check from Terry as he dishes it off. Bastian steps. Royals goal, power play goal, second of the game, scored by Winton Bastian, assisted by Zach Snyder at 7 minutes 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Bastian with his second on the power play. Assisted by Snyder at 7:30 of the fourth. Bastian with his second on the power play. Face-off, and again, the face-offs being dominated by Tegan Boltman, and Boltman picked it up off of the bounce and got his first goal of the tournament. Royals goal scored by Tegan Boltman. Time of the goal, 8 minutes 10 seconds of the fourth quarter. Boltman for the Royals at 8:10 of the fourth. Timeout is called by the Stoneflies. So now a 13-4 lead. The Royals in the midst of a 5-0 run. They've scored 7 of the last 8. And the Royals, they've had 9 different players score now, and one of them isn't Miles Botkus, who he can go for 5 goals when he's on. Right now, you have a real team effort with the scoring being spread around. Matt Ward had a goal, 3 goals, a hat trick in the first half, but it's been other players who've stepped up, and first goal of the tournament for players like Tegan Boltman, the face-off man. First goal of the tournament for Cam Morris in his first game back. First goal of the tournament for Griffin Pohl. So players who haven't been contributing on offense are now doing so in the most crucial games, and if the score holds up, it sets things up very well for the Royals squad as they attempt to defend their NCBS National Championship from a year ago. We're going to get a delayed penalty called as Vanderhyde with the shot down low, and at this point you can sense the frustration for the Stoneflies, who really came out playing much better than they did in the first matchup between these two teams, but things just slipping away, and Shutt is back to the penalty box for his second straight illegal cross-check penalty. Penalty called against Max Shutt, 2 minutes for an illegal cross-check. Time of the penalty, 9 minutes 15 seconds of the fourth quarter. 6th penalty for the Stoneflies, but not able to do what they did. A rebound here with Bastian on the doorstep after the initial shot from Botkus, and Adele comes away with it. Trainer looking to break out, and the Royals keep the pressure on, and it's going to stay with the Royals. And so the Stoneflies, they got 4 shorthanded goals yesterday against the Rivermen, but a much different matchup here. One thing the Royals do, you see on the power play, they pass the ball around, and each time a player gets it, just takes a couple of steps forward, gets a little bit closer to goal. Here's a takeaway from Trainer, but he almost has the ball taken away from him. Now Brook in transition with a 2-on-1 behind the back pass. Adele reaches behind his body to get it, shoots it, Mackey makes the save. 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 9-goal lead for the Royals. Much of the Royals' development came from scrimmages and practices with only 2 teams in the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League and spread across the California coast, expecting that that league will expand. The Royals came up to the Bay Area to play the San Francisco Dragons for 2 games in what were essentially scrimmages, then went back to Southern California, developed their team chemistry through practices and scrimmaging against adult league teams, and then hosting in Escondido, California, near San Diego the 3-game playoff with the San Francisco Dragons that sent the Royals here to this NCBS National Championship. Stoneflies held scoreless since Adele scored with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and now we're at 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Royals won the opening game of the series against the Dragons 17-4. The Dragons won 8-7, but then the Royals 12-5 in the decisive third game to make it here to the NCBS National Championship. Shot from Botkus, saved from Milky. It's amazing to think that the player who had the most goals through round robin play for the Royals has not had a goal yet today, and that's Botkus. He would be the 10th different player to score for the Royals. But the Royals have offensive firepower up and down their roster, which this year includes 18 players that were part of last year's squad, including the goalkeeper, who is now going to go over to the bench with the delayed penalty coming up against the Stoneflies. The defending MVP from last year's NCBS National Championship in Caleb Mackey. Royals with the extra attacker on, content to just wait with it at the moment. Snyder from straight away. Gavit, cross court, connects with Beeson, finds the back of the net. Snyder from straight away. Gavit, cross court. And that's what happens when you're the king and the defending national champions. Royals goal, second of the game. Scored by Nick Beeson, assisted by Jake Gavit at 12 minutes 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Beeson with his second from Gavit for the Royals at 12:30 of the fourth. So now a 14-4 lead. This is a 6-0 run for the Royals, which started at the end of the third quarter. Game's gone from 8-4 to 14-4, and Rasmussen picks up some more, and he's now got a hat trick, which started at the end of the third quarter. Game's gone from 8-4 to 14-4. Royals goal, third of the game, scored by Christian Rasmussen at 13 minutes 15 seconds of the fourth quarter. Rasmussen with his third for the Royals at 13:15 of the fourth. Face-off win from Rios, facing off against Griffin Pull, who came on to take the draw. So Royals will be on their way to the national championship game that will take place at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, looking to keep the NCBS National Trophy right here in the Golden State, whereas the Hawkeyes and the Revolution, playing for a spot in the finals in the next semifinal matchup, will attempt to bring the trophy all the way to the East Coast. Less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter. Stoneflies will have the ball. They can go back to Colorado with their heads held high as they dropped the initial game to the Royals, then had wins against the Grays and the Rivermen. Chance here for a breakaway, and Milky able to make the stop on Nate Ryan. Stoneflies, a team that didn't make the playoffs last year in Colorado, winning the Morrow Cup, but then running into the defending national champions. Expansion team last year, defeated the Armory from upstate New York to win the national title, and coming back as defending champions are headed back to the finals, finishing up the game on a 7-0 run. That's the end of the fourth quarter. The final score, Royals 15, Stoneflies 4. Royals will advance to the national championship game to take place at 1:30 p.m. Coming up next, the second semifinal between the Hawkeyes as the number 1 seed and the Revolution as the number 4 seed. Wow, that was a tremendous performance by the Royals. It took a while for the game to get going, at least in terms of the scoring. It was real defensive early on, really fun to watch. And ultimately, it took 12 minutes, 40 seconds to get the first goal. The Royals led 2-0 after the first quarter. Stoneflies came back to tie it 2-2. But what really worked for the Royals was just getting multiple attempts on each offensive possession. And that type of pressure, it just kept adding and adding up for the Royals, getting goals from 9 different players, one of whom wasn't even their leading scorer during round robin play. So this Royals team that their coach Cam Holding said is faster, smarter, stronger than they were a year ago. They looked exactly like you'd want a defending national champion to look. So they have their spot in the national championship game sealed. Which East Coast team will they face? Will it be the representatives from upstate New York, the Hawkeyes, who are the number 1 seed, undefeated coming into this next semifinals? Or will it be the Revolution, to come in with a record of 1-2, but when you hit the semifinals, you throw the records out, and that's what we'll do when we come back for the next matchup. We had what was the West Coast semifinal. The Royals win against the Stoneflies. Now the East Coast semifinal to set up what should be another epic championship in the NCBS National Championship Tournament. We'll be back with the second semifinal, and the opening faceoff will be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. We'll have it for you. Thank you to the team from Score Break, CJ Madrill behind the camera, Kai Clark directing, Jordan Henry producing. I'm Jonathan Horowitz. Great to have you with us on Championship Saturday at the 2022 NCBS National Championship Tournament from San Jose.